Welcome to another team selection video for Gameweek 34. And we're going to do the usual stuff, looking into how Gameweek 33 did, and then previewing Gameweek 34 with my ideas about the captaincy, the best players you can get, and to be honest, some of my transfer plans, because there are certain players that, I don't know, there's just too many question marks around, whether it's injury, whether it's form. But overall, in terms of how my wildcard has gone so far, I can't complain too much. It's been pretty steady. I've been gaining rank ever so slightly every single week, and I've now gone up to 64k from around 75, and I've passed the 2,100 point mark, and I've got 61 points, but I did take a -4, so 57 overall. And yeah, I mean, overall pretty mixed bag. So I look at the Chelsea West Ham game and very happy with that, because not many people had even one Chelsea defender, let alone having a double up there, and they got the clean sheet. Mendy got a yellow card for time wasting, but it doesn't matter, still got 5 points. Rudiger with 8, he got the bonus points, so very happy with him. And even on UCL Fantasy, he got an assist and 6 points on that. Across the rest of the defense, very mixed bag. So Cody 0 points after getting me 7 and 6 respectively in the last 2 weeks. So pretty disappointed with that. I mean, they conceded 4 to Burnley, and one of the goals was actually scored by Vidra, but it got disallowed. But a Chris Wood masterclass, a hat-trick and an assist. I think he got 92 on the bonus point system. I mean, crazy stuff. Trent Alexander-Arnold lost his clean sheet right at the death, twice really. I don't know how that Callum Wilson goal didn't stand. That is really stupid. And so many decisions this week, such as the offside in the build-up to Arsenal's penalty, which then obviously got ruled out, and other stuff that happened. It's just, at this point, it becomes really stupid. But yeah, VAR, I don't really think it's VAR being so bad, it's the people using it. Otherwise, VAR could be a great tool which will help referees, but it just highlights how incompetent they are, should I say. And Luke Shaw with 8 points, got bonus. At one point he was on for free, along with Wan-Bissaka, but still 8 points overall, pretty happy with that. And to be honest, it's just, I look at Leeds and United, I mean, you would have expected both teams to score, but I did highlight Leeds United in recent weeks. They've been much better defensively. I mean, the results against Liverpool and Manchester City show that, and they've just been quite solid ever since Llorente's come in. So really, in hindsight, maybe it's not too much of a surprise. But Bruno blanking yet again, that's 6 in 8 now. That is a surprise. I do expect him to haul within the next 2 game weeks, but is he actually going to do that at this point? Who knows? I still think he's playing well, but he's kind of got a different role right now. He's creating more from deep, and he's not getting on the end of chances, or at least big chances, and his creativity levels have still gone down because he is dropping deeper and trying to run things from a central area rather than those attacking midfield and striker roles where he likes to occupy those pockets. But he was my vice captain, and it's a good thing in the end I didn't go for him. Jota with 1 point, he's been very disappointing. He got hooked off before the 60th minute mark. And yeah, with Jota, we just have to hope that he starts to recapture some form, because he's someone that, I've said it since game week 32 now, and I only had him for like 2 weeks at that point. He's someone I'm seriously considering to get rid of, but we'll see how Liverpool do against Manchester United. After that, they have great fixtures, but Jota's going to be kind of rotating with every single one of the forwards that Liverpool have. But Salah, captain, pretty happy with that. Scored a goal in the 3rd minute, but I mean, just like with Jota, both of them should have had much more. Salah at least 1 more goal, and Jota should have scored 1. And yeah, even Trent, he could have had an assist. So overall, Liverpool was very disappointing, but at least the captaincy was decent. 9 points from Salah, so 18 overall. Can't complain too much. Lingard blanks, finally. I mean, the last time he blanked was against Fulham. So maybe he has something against these kind of West London clubs. But yeah, Lingard does blank, got 2 points, and West Ham didn't have a sniff in that game. Chelsea were that good defensively, and it is worth doubling up on Chelsea defence, no doubt about it. The problem is that if they do blank in game week 36, then that becomes an issue. And then in terms of my forwards, Iheanacho, 12 points. This guy's just been absolutely great since I got him in. And even before that, for quite a few game weeks, maybe 3 to 5 game weeks, he was still doing well before I got him in. And he's just been so consistent. And right now, he is carrying Leicester City to that top 4 spot, should I say. And Vidra comes on off my bench with 2 points, and like I said, a bit disappointing that he didn't get his goal allowed. I think they checked VAR and subsequently disallowed it. And this is kind of the disappointment. So Kane and Son, obviously they at the Carabao Cup final, Forster couldn't play because they had a match scheduled against Manchester City, who ended up winning the Carabao Cup. But Keane, I brought him in. There was no sign, there was no nothing from Ancelotti about him being injured. And suddenly, when it comes to the lineup, I see he's not playing. And they keep the clean sheet at the Emirates, and I don't get anything from it. And I do believe Keane could have got even bonus points from that if he had played. But it is what it is, and hopefully he is back soon. Otherwise, he's someone I have to just transfer out. And I did take that -4, remember, for Trent Alexander-Arnold and Keane. And if it wasn't for that, if Keane actually at least played, I could have been looking at maybe, I would have been into the top 60k, in the 50k mark, really. But it is what it is. Still a good week overall compared to the average, and I'll take that. And hopefully more green arrows to come. Moving on to Game Week 34, which is what we're all here for. This is how I'm lining up right now. I've got Mendy in goal with Rudiger. I mean, it's just that double up Chelsea defence. I do believe it's just worth it up until the potential blank game week, and then after maybe you can get rid of one or two of them. But right now, Chelsea assets are just offering great value in defence. Cody away to West Brom. I'll be honest, I don't expect a clean sheet there because West Brom have actually been decent offensively, but they are almost down, especially after that late equaliser by Keenan Davis. But yeah, with Wolves, just if they do keep that clean sheet, Cody could be in for the bonus points and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, I'm not really too confident. Then I've got Keane. As I said before, I'm going to be evaluating. I'm going to be looking at the press conferences in the upcoming days, and I'm going to be seeing if he's fine. Hopefully Ancelotti does let on more than he did last week. But to be honest, I've got nothing against Ancelotti or anything. I mean, he's a manager. He shouldn't care about FPL. He probably never will care about FPL. I just found it a bit strange that, one of his best players got injured and, there was no sign of it or no sound of it throughout the whole press conference. But Keane is in right now, and if not, have to get rid, unfortunately. Maybe for another Everton defender, or maybe just get Dallas back in. We'll wait and see, but I don't think I have enough money to get Dallas in, unfortunately, and I'd probably have to take another hit or wait another game week in order to make the moves I want. Trent Alexander-Arnold away to Man United. I'll be honest, I'm not too confident about that, and there's 3 players fighting for 1 or 2 spots in my team, and it's going to be quite difficult to kind of decide that in the end. My midfield kind of speaks for itself, though. Salah and Bruno, I know that obviously the fixture is very tough on paper, but they're both capable of a penalty or at least some points in some way or another, so they're both in there. Son against Sheffield United at home. He's been pretty poor in recent weeks. I know he got the goal against Southampton, a penalty, and he's ticked over a few times, but he's just not been the same. And the Carabao Cup final highlighted how poor he has been in recent weeks, but maybe he'll start to get that form back up. And Lingard away to Burnley. I think Lingard will bounce back. I'm not sure if it's going to be this game week or the next, but yeah, still have faith in Lingard. I don't think that the boat has completely sailed. However, a lot of those double-digit returns and stuff like that, maybe expect a bit more normality from him from now on. And then it comes to the captaincy, which I'll go into detail very shortly, but Iheanacho and Kane up front, and to be honest, in my opinion, this week, they're probably 2 of the best you can go for. Kane is probably the standout. He'll be the one with a really high effective ownership, and then all this talk about effective ownership will come to fruition yet again. But yeah, I think right now I'm tempted by Iheanacho to captain him, but if not, what I might do is captain Kane this week, and then if Leicester have a double in 35, I'm actually captain Iheanacho, but we'll wait and see on that. But I do think Kane is the standout, and Iheanacho is someone that if you want to go a bit different and you're back in the form, and also just how good Leicester have been recently, then maybe just go for Iheanacho. In terms of my bench, I've got Forster there, doesn't really matter, probably won't play. Shaw, Jota and Vidra. I'll be honest though, it's between Trent, Shaw and Jota for that spot in my team. If Keane is injured, then that might change things. I might also bench him, so it allows one of Shaw or Jota to also come into my starting 11, but I'm not too confident about that, and I don't like the fact that I have so many Manchester United and Liverpool players. But beyond this game week, I do think that it's a good thing that I have all these sorts of players, but as I said before, the main player I have major doubts about, other than Keane because of his injury, is Jota. The rest I'm pretty happy with, and I can live with it. But yeah, in terms of the captaincy, I do think that Kane is the standout. He's facing Sheffield United at home, and Kane has still been in good form. I know he just recovered from an injury, and he didn't look like himself against Manchester City, but yeah, either way, Manchester City completely dominated that game. There wasn't much that Kane could do. And now he's facing Sheffield United, who, to be fair, did get a 1-0 win against Brighton, but I think Spurs are going to put a few past them, and I would back Kane to do the business. And I'd be very surprised if he was benched or rested, because despite how easy the fixture is on paper, Sheffield United already being down, you can look at it on the other side. You know, they have nothing to lose. They've already been relegated. And also, Spurs are still got a chance of getting into the top 4. And in order to do that, they need Kane. The record without him is very, very poor this season. I know they won against Southampton without him, but yeah, still, they just can't take any risks, I think. And for me, Iheanacho, from my team anyway, is the only other one I'd be looking at. Maybe Son, but for me, I think Kane is significantly better than Son in recent weeks. And when I look at all the other fixtures, is there anyone else you could captain? You could go rogue maybe with a Manchester City asset, but you're always running the risk of rotation. Maybe Aguero, if he comes back in. I mean, he has to play at some point, surely. We'll wait and see what happens in today's game in the Champions League. Other than that, with Leeds, I don't know, you could maybe captain Dallas or something like that. That's also a bit rogue, if you know what I mean. Or maybe Bamford, but I wouldn't really go there. I think Dallas would be a better option in terms of the captaincy. With Chelsea Fulham, that is a derby. You would expect it to be a bit cagey. You could maybe captain a defender. Maybe Alonso, this is when he's going to get his game. And if you have him, you could captain him, but I'm not too sure about that. I'd mainly be looking at one of the attackers. And Pulisic, who is someone I highlighted in UCL Fantasy in my deadline stream, he ended up scoring yesterday against Real Madrid. So he's someone you could look at against Fulham. But will he be, rested? He could be. He is injury prone. Tuchel likes to rotate anyway and to preserve all the players. So that's something to look at. I probably wouldn't captain anyone from Everton, Aston Villa. That's a difficult game to call. Both of them have been pretty hit and miss recently. Newcastle, Arsenal. I mean, there is big news now about Lacazette, Aubameyang and Tierney all coming back for training ahead of the Villarreal tie on Thursday. And maybe one of them could start against Newcastle, so you could maybe be looking at an Aubameyang for a 1-week punt or something like that. That's if they are back. So wait and see what happens in tomorrow's game against Villarreal before committing to an Arsenal player. But you could maybe go for one of them or Lacazette as the captain. Man United, Liverpool, I mean, I'd mainly be looking at Bruno or Salah, but even then, I just think the fixture is a bit difficult to call. It could be a draw, could be another 0-0. That's why I'm not going to be looking there myself. Spurs and Sheffield United, that's pretty easy. Kane and Son, with Kane being the absolute standout. And then with West Brom Wolves, to be honest, I mean, I don't really think, I think there's going to be goals from both sides. So I wouldn't say Captain Sice or whatever, but if you back the clean sheet, why not? But maybe with West Brom, you could go for Pereira, who's just been so good recently, getting the points. And then West Ham Burnley, I think Lingard's still a captaincy option, to be fair. He is still a good option. I know he blanked just now, and Burnley looked very impressive against Wolves. But yeah, you could go for him or Chris Wood. Why not? I've seen people captain him before. They've gotten points out of him. So why not? So those are kind of the other options I'd be looking at this week in terms of captaincy or to bring in just for this week anyway. And those are my thoughts on my captaincy, on my team. And yeah, going forward, if Keane is injured, I'll probably be replacing him with another Everton defender, maybe Coleman, if I think he's going to get minutes. With him, the reason why I didn't bring him in, Seamus Coleman, is because there are times where he comes on as a substitute and plays 17 to 30 minutes, which isn't ideal, obviously. You'd mainly be relying on an attack and return like he did against Spurs in the 2-2 draw. If not, maybe I'll wait another week, bench Keane, maybe bring in Shaw or Jota, and then make 2 free transfers in Game Week 35. I've still got my eye on Dallas, on Meslier, maybe in Game Week 36 if Chelsea blank, and then I can swap Mendy to Meslier. I'm also looking at Bamford. Maybe even Chris Wood now is someone worth considering. He's got the fixtures, he's got the form. There was even a point where he scored in 3 successive games for the first time in his Premier League career. And other than that, maybe in the midfield, Greenwood in for Jota. Otherwise, maybe Rafinha if he's back. But Leeds assets, I've obviously got my eye on them again. Everyone jumped off, or most people jumped off, including myself, on the wild card, and they've still offered great value, especially Dallas and Meslier for any of you who got rid of him. So it's a very interesting situation, but that's my team thoughts at the moment. I'll be doing a deadline stream at 5 o'clock on Friday GMT, so rather than 1 hour before the deadline at 5:30, it will be half an hour even earlier. So hopefully you tune in for that, and I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. I'd really appreciate it. Share this video around with anyone who loves FPL and UCL Fantasy. I also make videos on that. And yeah, really appreciate it. If you've got any problems, anything like that, then just comment them down below and I'll get back to you. And so will the rest of the community. But thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next few videos and live streams. I hope to do that. And good luck with this game week in FPL, and enjoy the football.